I didn't get the Owen Wilson. Wow. I didn't get that.
I'm waiting.
You waiting for
Me and
it?
Q were just talking about that today. We're waiting for the wow. It's like Denzel and Guarantee. You have to have it.
Yeah.
You have to have it.
You got
it. Got to be in the season finale. If it's not in the season finale, this whole show gets a great.
First of all, if him not saying wow and a jet ski, him ride jet ski is not in the season finale,
let it grade. Let it grade.
What's going on, YouTube? Essentially a place to be chill, Sandy, and the anime hero Swag on Zero.
How's it going?
We are back here with another TV experience, talking about Loki, the Disney Plus series, episode 4, titled Nexus Event. So now we have picked it up a lot since episode 3. They must have heard us, and it was just like, okay, look, Kevin Feige said, yo, give it to him. And then, well, here's the thing though, they probably watched our reaction to episode 3, and they said, give it all to them. And I was just like, in the middle of the episode, I was like, whoa, slow down. Like, that's how it was until we find out what it was at the end. But I was like, yo, slow down. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we got a lot up in this episode, a lot to unpack. So you guys know how the review goes. We give a brief synopsis of how we like it. Then we get into our spoilers. So Swag on Zero, start off with you, man. How did you feel about episode 40? And pick it up for you. And how do you feel about the reveal of the Timekeepers?
This episode was much better than the third one. However, I say this is a episode with two halves. The beginning half I didn't really get into. However, the second half really picked up a lot, and I appreciate it for doing that. The reveal of the Timekeepers was shocking. I wasn't expecting it this early.
Exactly.
And because you also, when you was talking about the way they look, I was looking at the features specifically. I was like, is it Krang? But we'll get to that when we talk to spoilers. And yeah, I see a B, a high B. This episode. Again, the second half was much better than the first.
I agree with you. Maybe I go a little bit higher because I really enjoyed this episode. It really gave us a lot. It really felt like I thought this was the mid-season because I thought it was going to be 8 episodes. But now knowing that it's going to be 6 episodes, I was like, well, they gave us a lot. But right. At first, I was almost thinking to the point they gave us too much because revealing the Timekeepers, I was like, that's something you should do at the end.
Right.
Or something like that. But when they did it here, I was like, okay, well, I felt a little uncomfortable, and I didn't know why.
Mm-hmm.
We'll obviously get to it.
I figured I was like, maybe something bigger is happening. If they're showing the Timekeepers now, something else is happening. Or they're just trying to do like a Knives Out, where they reveal it in the beginning and then they take us on this long goose chase.
But however, for what has happened in the episode and some things that has shocked me, I'm giving this episode a damn near perfect.
Okay.
If they had toned it back just a little bit and not kind of like forcing something like that, and if they didn't do a certain thing, then it would have been a complete nerdgasm. But right now, it's a damn near perfect. The highest rated episode of Loki so far. Let's get on into this because as we see Loki and Sylvie about to die on
Lamentus
1, yeah, we see that they're actually having a connection with each other, which is causing a huge Nexus event, which now it gives Morbius the tracker of knowing where these guys are at.
Did they explain why it was causing that?
Well, I think it was because that Lokis are not supposed to like unite like that, or remember the whole loop of he's supposed to be alone and die alone.
Okay.
And since they were developing feelings for each other, something like that, it's causing something that's not supposed to happen in a Nexus event, as they call it.
Gotcha.
But before all that even starts, we get another flashback of young Sylvie in the beginning of the episode playing with her little toys on her version of Asgard. And when she's on Asgard, she comes, then also we see Vanoa, who comes in, and she is now a hunter at this time because now she's been promoted to judge, but now she's a hunter, and she comes and kidnaps Sylvie, that version of Loki. So we see her go through all the same things Loki did at the beginning of episode 1 with the TVA and everything like that. And then we see her about to get judged, but then she stomps on Rova's foot and then kidnaps her little time portal device, and then she finds a way to escape. which you later find out that she has been running for a long time because then till she finally figured out where to hide and now be in apocalyptic events because she was completely erased from the timeline. So now anywhere she showed up, anywhere she interacted with, it's going to cause a Nexus event in the timeline.
Right.
So that is some stressful shit to go through.
Yeah. For that many years.
For that many, exactly. So when they finally come back, I like how they're all guarded up. They'll be guarded by security. And Loki was just like, I think it's kind of insulting that she has more security than I do.
Yeah,
I know that's a good line. So Morbius comes in there to talk to her, talk to Loki about basically what's been going on, and what causes this next event, and basically kind of like tries to get it out of her that's he's falling for her, to say the least. So so then, well, first before we even do that, he throws him into like this jail where he encounters, was it Sylvie? No, not Sylvie. One of the Warriors 3 from Thor. I forgot.
Lady Sif.
Lady Sif.
Lady Sif.
Yeah, and he gets kind of with her based on loop where she comes in there because she's mad that Loki they play a trick and cut her hair, which is actually something that happened in Norse mythology. Dead serious.
And they do Lady Sif so dirty.
They do, but I heard she come back for Love and Thunder though, because she did not get killed.
Yeah, she didn't get killed in the event during the Thanos thing and Ragnarok. So thank God. But they just do her so dirty. They took her out. They took her out of Ragnarok. They put her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's like out of all the things, you got the worst.
Yeah, so he's in like this place where it's a loop. And every time she comes in there, she talks about something. She punches him, knees him in the balls, and punches him again, and say you're alone, and you should die alone. And I was just like, my God, that is just over and over punishment. So it's kind of like their little prison. Meanwhile, they're holding Sylvie in this other prison thing, but Morbius wants to talk to her, but Verona is not letting Morbius anywhere near her by any chance, and I'm thinking it's because of fear that she can enchant his mind and let him know that what's really going on.
Right.
Meanwhile, Hunter C-15, my homegirl from Lovecraft Country, is obviously feeling that there is something that's not right here.
Right.
And she wants to know what's going on with Sylvia and what did she see? Because she obviously put thoughts in her mind of what basically kind of like she had before. So meanwhile, when Morbius brings Loki back out to prison, he sits down and talks to him, he kind of tried to scare him a little bit and tell him that Sylvie's dead. You can tell that instantly that Loki did develop feelings for her. But then when also finds out that when Morbius felt like that he was playing for playing Loki and let her know that she was still alive, but you fell in love with yourself, kind of teased him about that. And Loki's obviously getting irate and pissed off about that, but then he's trying to let him know that the TVA is lying to you.
Before this, you had a past. Maybe you had a family, a life. Nice try.
Morbius has a slight moment of trying to think about that, but then he says, you know what? Out of all the liars in here, you're the biggest liar. He said, why? Because I lied about killing your girlfriend. He said, no, about the lie that you're telling yourself. Thought that was a good line. I didn't get the Owen Wilson. Wow. I didn't get that.
I'm waiting.
You waiting for it?
Me and Q were just talking about that today. We're waiting for the wow. It's like Denzel and Guarantee. You have to have it.
Yeah.
You have to have it.
You got
it. Got to be in the season finale. If it's not in the season finale, this whole show gets a great.
First of all, if him not saying wow and a jet ski, him riding jet ski is not in the season finale,
let it grade.
Yeah, it dropped a whole grade. So he goes over to Ravo's office and he wants to figure out what's going on here. But however, CS15, aka Lovecraft Country, goes into she's walking down the hallway and she goes into Sylvie's holding room and says, "Come with me." So as Morbius and Revolver are sharing a drink of finally putting the paper onto cracking the case.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Putting all this behind us.
You can tell that Morbius is thinking some things like, "Hey, he wants to know something here because he doesn't necessarily trust everything." So he switches the those transporter pads that were on the table so he can really know what's going on. Act like he's kind of drunk and gets out of the room so he can figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, CS15 Hunter takes Sylvie right back to the spot where they were in the rain, that hurricane in 2050 at that superstore, and says, how'd you do it? Say, did you put something in my mind? He said, no, this is who you were before then. She shows her her life before that, and we don't get to see it, okay? Right. But she said, I look happy. Wouldn't it be funny because, Jonathan Majors is supposed to be playing Krang in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they both were in Lovecraft Country? Wouldn't it be funny if her life before this was Lovecraft Country?
Why would she be smiling?
Say what?
Why would she be smiling?
Well, she was smiling when she stayed with her people.
That's hard to find.
The homegirl and them came, like, oh, that's how you didn't see all the series.
Yeah.
The homegirl and them came, yeah, no, she was fine. She was cool. I thought it was a little cool Easter egg. So Morbius realizes, as he takes time to look at her little devices, he realizes that the homegirl that we saw at the beginning of episode 3 with the margaritas was not there. She was trying to tell the truth about what's going on with the TVA and how that she had a life before this, and sees that Revolver was in there to kind of scrub her clean. Right. So he goes to go find Loki. Says, "Look,
be whatever you want to be, even someone good. I mean, just in case anyone ever told you different.
You could be whoever you want to be, even somebody good. Just thought I'd tell you that somebody tell you, but you weren't lying. Something is wrong with the TVA." They come back to the portal. They see Revolver there. She says, "I think you had something in mind." And he tries to play it off like he got the wrong one, but then he was like, he knows he's about to get zapped. And he says, because at her office, she did ask the question, if you can be anywhere in the world right now, where would it be? So he said,
wherever I had a life before the TVA came along. Maybe I had a jet ski. That's what I'd like to do. Just riding around on my jet ski.
Prune him.
Well, I could choose anywhere in the world be where I was before with a jet ski. So then he gets zapped, and I was like, I did not see Morbius getting zapped. So that kind of threw me off guard for a little bit.
I didn't see that. That threw me off. Well, we're in the spoiler territory. I thought he was GG. I was like, that's it. He's gone. I thought he was gone. Like, good game. You're done.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. So
I was like, there's no way.
Now, Revolver is taking Sylvie and Loki to the timekeepers themselves to get their.
After all your struggle, at last you've arrived before us.
I've lost track of the number of times I've been killed, so go ahead. Do your worst.
And I'm just like, whoa! When they open the door, I'm just like, wait a minute. These are timekeepers.
Right.
Here. Why are they doing this now? So as they're talking, they are some creepy looking people.
They are.
Or entities and everything like that. So Loki, is fussing at him along with Sylvie, but then all of a sudden Hunter S15 comes up in there and tosses Sylvie her sword back that Revolver kept at her office, and then a big brawl ensues. They knock out Hunter 15. I was like, well, she ain't do much.
Quickly.
And I tried. So then we started getting the fight. Revolver and Sylvie getting the fight because when they was on the elevator going to the timekeeper, she was like, "Do you remember who I am?" She says, "I do."
What was my Nexus event? Why did you bring me in?
I don't remember.
And then why'd you take me? And then she was like, I don't remember, with a little smirk on her face. So I don't know what her necessary plan is or whatever the case may be. I can't figure out which side she's on, to be honest with you. I really can't. So
I feel like she's just trying to do her job.
So then as they clear house, and then one of the Tahir says, talk about a bargain. I'm like, what the hell is this? I was instantly, I said, shit. I swear, as soon as I said, shit. Then Sylvie throws him at his head, and the head falls off, and you can tell it's an android.
Yep.
One of the creepiest things to me, though, even though it was an android, is how the other two start laughing hysterically before they shut off. That, to me, is a creepy ass sight to see. Like, imagine being there, you see these big three intimidating looking androids, right? And you cut the head off of one, and they just start laughing hysterically. I'm just like, oh damn, was I supposed to do that? Like that creeps me out. You know what I'm saying? Look, I had weird phobias. Okay, I don't know why. Stuff like that kind of creeps me out. And I was like, it's an android. They Iron Man 3'd us.
So far.
So far. Well, it's the Wizard of Oz. Have you seen the Wizard of Oz?
Yep.
Okay, and you've seen the Wiz. I know. I mean, that's part of every black person's checklist. Yeah. If you've seen the Wizard of Oz, you gotta see the Wiz.
Yep.
We know how the story is. The Great and Powerful Oz. That movie was not good, but the Great and Powerful Oz is not what he seems to be. Who is the man behind the curtain? Okay, so if these gatekeepers are androids, obviously, which everybody kind of knows about now, well, then it's like, who is behind these androids as these gatekeepers? And I'm just like, it ain't, because I'm thinking like, well, maybe it could be Krang, but I'm like,
you want to jump down the rabbit hole?
Oh, fuck, I don't want to. I really don't want to.
I personally still think it's the Timekeepers. That was just a setup.
See, the thing I'm worried about is here. I think they're going to go generic for generic, because it seems like these episodes they don't want to jump too much into it. It seems like they didn't want to save that for the movies. Now, we do got the Eternals coming out in November.
Right.
And we do got Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. So a lot of that stuff from at least this episode and WandaVision is going to be answered, I hope. But I'm still thinking, like, I think it's going to be something generic, like it's another Loki, because that's what Wizard of Oz did. It's this old guy on a bicycle trying to scare everybody, and it's somebody that's not to be taken serious at all. And right now, the way the series is going, what's not to be taken serious? Loki's. That's what scares me. I hope you're right. I hope I'm wrong. Okay? I pray I'm wrong. But just showing the android, and then all of a sudden, as Loki is like trying to reveal to the Sylvie, and like he's about to kiss her, he gets zapped, and then Sylvie takes out her phone and she says, "Do it," and she says, "No, I'm not gonna do it. You're gonna tell me everything you know," and that's how it ends. So we thought. I had to go back the second time and watch this post-credit scene.
Right. The album cover.
these 6 minute endings be throwing me
I
off.
literally just slide through just to make sure each time.
So we get a post-credit scene where Loki wakes up. He's like, "Am I in hell?" Which is the Norse mythology version of hell, that in Christian beliefs that of hell and heaven, stuff like that. And he wakes up and sees these three other Lokis, like classic Loki, Kid Loki, Black Loki. Like, I know he's not Black Loki, but he's that's what I'm calling him. It's like these three different other Lokis. So it's like, oh my god, where is he at?
Actually, four. They had the classic, young, the alligator,
and the alligator. That's right. So it's sitting there thinking like, yo, where the hell are we at right now? Like, so, and that's how the show officially goes off. So right then, I'm like, okay, it's like, can Krang the Conqueror be behind all this? That would be dope, because him and Renoa, which I'm not saying her name so wrong, but they have ties in the comic book.
Right.
But I just don't see. It's just that when something more bigger and more sinister should be in place, they make it so it's not, because it's TV. That's a letdown, because see now, but when we was leading to it, Mephisto, before we knew anything, was like the obvious choice.
Right.
Wouldn't it be so fun that what else is more powerful that can fuck with Wanda, who is a Nexus level being who can create realities of her? So that's how big her bunch of power is.
Right.
So the only thing else is the fucking devil. Okay, so like how else could be? But he said no, it's Agatha all along, and I'm like, okay, and she took care of her easily at the end.
Yep.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm like, man, we thought it was going to, I mean, it did end quite good. It did touch on things that we didn't think they was going to touch on and stuff like that. But in that one, it wasn't too much of a big reveal. We knew Captain America was coming.
Right.
But in Loki, it's just like, yo, so much about these timekeepers, and you would think that by the end we're going to see them, but now we're seeing this early. Now we realize that they're just androids. Okay, well, somebody's operating them from behind, but we've been going through the show talking about all these Lokis, and that post-credit scene did not help showing that these other multiple Lokis. I'm like, what if it's just another Loki who actually got Thanos's well, I mean, he got Tesseract and was successful. What if it's that? What if it's another Loki? And I'm like, to me personally, that's disappointing. I don't need to see. I mean, I understand it's a Loki show. We get so many of these damn Lokis, but him being behind the whole thing, like the threat becomes this big, especially when they have so many questions of where the TVA came from and all this other kind of stuff.
Right. And I feel like Krang should be introduced before the Ant-Man movie.
I would agree. I'm like, even if it's in the remember how Thanos was introduced at the end of the Avengers movie?
Right. That was a good way. And they just build it up.
Exactly.
Just through post-credits.
Just turned around. So it's like, oh, snap. And we ain't heard nothing from Thanos for years. So that's, I'm thinking like, that's what I would do as opposed to just doing it just an Ant-Man. But
yeah.
Will they go there? Especially when this is the first series that they did. But post your comments down below, everybody, and let us know how you guys enjoyed Loki episode 4. Hit the like button if you guys enjoy, our review of it, and subscribe for more TV experiences right here on NC Studios. Once again, it's NC Place. We chose I'm saying the anime hero swag on 0.
Thanks for having me,
and we'll see you on the next channel.